Hi, Team 4. Some questions for you guys. One, you guys are bringing up lots of interesting ideas about surrogacy, some of the ethical questions that you guys have. And I think this is a really good conversation to have. I think it's an important conversation to have. The idea of custody or legal rights to a child who has been born of surrogacy. So, does the surrogate mother, and just so that we understand, a surrogate mother is not an egg donor in the pregnancy. A surrogate mother is simply the womb, the vessel for the baby to grow. Okay, so it is biological father, biological mother, fertilized embryo placed inside of the surrogate, and then the baby grows. And then the contract, usually most surrogacy contracts, are a covering of all medical costs and usually pretty significant amount of payment. And then there's always legal work in there about rights to the child, exactly how birth is going to go. Does the surrogate mother, the woman giving birth, does she have the right to hold the baby afterwards? Is she allowed to correspond afterwards? I mean, there's all kinds of really serious questions about this. Somebody asked the question, so are they the mother? And so I don't know. I don't know. As a woman who's given birth to two children, I can't imagine how difficult it would be to be pregnant for 9 months and then never see the baby again. But again, like, you kind of know what it is when you sign the contract, right? So I understand. I also understand the other side of it, where you would kind of go, I didn't really know how hard it was going to be. The other side of that, this is what I was thinking, is there's a contract that says you will be the vessel, you will be the carrier, and you will deliver, and then you will be done. So I was thinking, is this different than like a UPS driver or a FedEx driver, where we say, this is really important and we need it to go, right? And so you carry this package for us, and then when you get to the end point, you need to deliver this to the right person. So I don't know. I mean, I'd be pretty ticked if the UPS driver was like, "No, it's mine. I've been driving this thing around like all day for a whole week. I've been driving this thing around. I'm kind of attached to it." See what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. And granted, obviously, human beings are different than packages delivered via UPS. But it's sort of a thought. Think about it. And then the other question, somebody was talking about BMI. This is big. This is a big question that I get a lot of times. And so, yes, people who are very muscular, athletes oftentimes, the question was specifically about bodybuilders. Yes, their BMI is going to show them in the obese range, because the BMI is just an index that is your height and your weight, and then there's a score in between there. And there's certain categories that you're underweight, average weight, slightly overweight, very overweight. So if you can imagine somebody who's a 5'10" bodybuilder who's 240, right? They're gonna be on that obese side, simply by the nature of the scale. That being said, the BMI, is it accurate? No, not always, right? A couple years ago in class, I had a student who was on the baseball team, and he was about 6 feet tall, a pretty big guy, kind of, muscular through his shoulders. He was very, very fit, very athletic, very, he lifted weights, he did a lot of cardio, like, he was very in shape. And so whenever we calculated BMI in class, he was like, I'm obese. And everybody laughed, because it was just sort of a ridiculous thought that this perfectly fit, young 19-year-old would be obese. But on the scale, yes, they're obese. So is it accurate all the time? Absolutely not. Is it a good indicator a majority of the time of somebody who's going to have health-related problems or health problems related to health? Yes.